We're back on Total War Rome 2. We're playing on Divide et Impera, a modded Empire Divided campaign as Aurelian. We're also going to have naval support, which would be sweet. I'm surprised how many they're trying to commit through there. They seem to be moving their very light melee. Alright, move into a better position. I thought there was one less unit there. Like, all you need is just a hold to allow my skirmishers to do their work. No, they're going to push now. We'll countercharge it then. We could commit further, guys. Yeah, now push for it. Alright, get our archers to target this. You target that. Reinforcements can swing further around the back. You try and take the town square. You try and move this way. You already can push here. So we already seem to be smashing that first tier unit. Yeah, so they already got thrown back. That's alright. Alright, you're going after this. Push higher up there to help. Get my archers and skirmishers now to fire into this. Those catapults never actually made their way there. They're flanking this way now. If you could hold something like that would be ideal. General wise, we'll keep you further back. So skirmish wise, it's basically even, so we might as well just try and close down the difference. Yeah, so just continue to try and push then. These legionaries are comfortable and competent enough to do that. We'll try and spread things out slightly. We could even go with a charge here around the back and completely get around them. There we go. You can operate around this way. Alrighty. So they were a little bit hesitant pushing, but now they're fully committing against the Roman pretenders. They're doing incredibly well, bringing down especially the lighter Italian militia. Our archers and skirmishers are trading well, and we're actually pushing them from behind now. So continue to hit that. You go for this. You focus on the general unit. Get the skirmishers to hit that. You hit this. Pull you further around here. Because even though a couple of you are pushing for that, you can really go for this. These guys are really wrapping around here. And we're actually capping the town square now. Oh, looks like we did manage to sink some with our artillery. Only one, and the men drowned at sea. Oh my god. What? Oh, damn. We might even be able to like swing them in so close that they can probably get a barrage down. We could let our cavalry meet them on the beach. Alright, the town square is nearly ours now. These units are routing completely. And let's get this fully over around the back. Let's get our Roman cataphractari to help. Get our archers just to halt for now. They're going to cause more friendly fire than what they were, so let's bring them back. We'll allow... you could even just charge these guys here initially to make sure they don't come back into the battlefield. Lucius, my brother, is going to run down and make quick work of these archers with his heavily armoured Roman cataphractari. My god. They look like demons, don't they, with those masks? Absolute... the pinnacle of ancient warfare there. And they're running more down here, and that should be the last of them numerically. Not by much though. Alright, let's fight this one on the battlefield here. Repel cavalry. Phallicum. Oh wow, a lot of these guys have... Whoa, I didn't realize I had that many abilities. That's awesome. Alright, you push up there. We'll push you there as well. I'm actually quite surprised about that. You push for them. You push for them as well. We'll try and fight these guys on the beaches adequately. Yeah, a lot of them have repel cavalry, testudo defensive, testudo wedge, use the whip. We can even get them to really go for it there. One of our enemies, allies, use all their ammunition. That's fine. Let's push for this. So we're fighting the initial archers on the beach. We should make quick work of them, even if they are only archers. Up on the walls itself, we are trying to swarm the tower. Our men are slowly but surely making their way up for the glory of Rome and Sun God, Sol Invictus. This, at the end of the day, is the Sun God's empire. Alrighty, how well are we doing over here? So it looks like they're somehow countercharged a little bit, and now some of our legionaries are actually fighting men who have tried to repel the battering ram charging up, hacking and slashing. And you got to give it to the pretenders. They are fighting for the bitter end there. A really nice parlay between the two. Come on, just kill that prick. There we go. That's exactly what we want. Alright, up on the walls. We do seem to be swarming it. And it doesn't look like they've got some like ethnic southern Italians there as well. Alright, can we move these reinforcements up? Whoa! Okay, these guys are routing. Huh. Right, so they can move up there. I believe one unit got caught. That's what's happened there. Okay, they're now trying to push up where they can. Alrighty. They're doing quite well holding them there. We still... maybe move the cavalry down there. Maybe get a charge. Yeah, because even though they are attached to that, they aren't fighting them properly. So weird. Okay, my reinforcements are here now. Send one to continue to burn that down. Maybe committing too many forces there is not the play. We just need to get this gate open, because they're throwing a lot of their skirmishers into this, which is not exactly what we want. Try and break that completely. I thought we might be able to beat them on the walls there. Alright, where's this additional cavalry unit coming from? Oh, I gave the order, surely. Yeah, I swear I gave the order. They didn't go down. Alright, they're fighting us on the walls there well. Yeah, I'm surprised how many abilities they have. That's going to be incredibly useful and valuable for the campaign. Hollow Square, Flying Wedge. We can individually throw that. We can use the whip as well. Melee attack, weapon damage, fatigue. So, oh yeah, come on, no. Yeah, you just need to keep on fighting that. Yeah, so if you draw your sword, like, go down into that. Try and push them away from this bullshit they're doing, trying to block it. Okay, we've actually managed to completely destroy those infantry on the walls, which is superb. So we're going to be able to push here now. They're actually removing and working some of their stuff away. So instead of letting spearmen go for that, because they didn't actually work that well last time, we can swing you down here. And if there is going to be a breach, it's probably going to be further south. Okay, so let's cycle charge this a bit, because now they're bringing out swordsmen. Allow my swordsmen to go for theirs. They've really blocked and halted off this ram. They're still fighting up on the walls. Go back on the hill and we'll cycle charge again. We want to eventually get... So if you can go for that, that's alright. But, like, come on. Draw your swords now. Just get down into business. Get down in there. Or maybe they have to go that way to do it. Pick a unit and go. Okay. So 75% fire. Get it to 100, please. So when the AI tries to like move out and retreat, that's what throws everything off. Okay. Allow our cavalry to cycle charge that. Yeah, they're just causing a bit of a meat grinder there, aren't they? The charge doesn't look overly effective, but even clipping some of them It's probably worth it. So, there doesn't seem to be a way down for my soldiers there. You'd think there'd be a gateway there or something, because the only way down seems to be here, closer to the square. So, by the look of it, we're actually going to have to, bar these guys, fight the men holding the gateway, but we are reducing it. 86 now. Okay, that archer unit's now come back. Do we send another unit down here to help? Sure, let's send another unit down there to help them. Up on the walls we're holding here. Okay, Brundisium will fall. It's just a matter of time. The gateway still isn't at 92. So, I know it was going to be a tough fight, but I didn't think it was going to be this costly. They're starting to break now on the walls, but our guys are getting whittled by skirmish fire. Hit the citizens that are just holding us there. Alright, so that's now done. We're going to be able to get inside in a moment. I could rotate those swordsmen down here. Yeah, we'll do that. Because that's going to be quicker than this side pushing through. Oh, they've gone and done it again, which is a shame. Alright, push for this unit. Yeah, drop the ram. I can't even... God, they cheesed it. I can't even do that. There we go. Okay, what's happening here now? Up on the walls itself, they're still tying down a lot of their units. They're doing well. They're like tying us down with absolute shit tier units and rinsing us. Nearly 85% there, so they can now move up along with additional cavalry. If we can get the cavalry just to scream through, we can do hammer and anvil strikes. What seems to be routing there. Oh god, why are they... It still says they're attached to it when I tell them to drop it. Oh, the cavalry unit must have retreated. Right. 50%. Oh god. Oh no, we're in. Yeah, go, go, go. Swing around the side. Alright, the gate has been breached and now we're moving in. Send my cavalry to the beach. While everyone else in here try and push for units. Yeah, I just thought we would perform better than this. I thought they'd be able to pull up there and push across and maybe go down, but it wasn't the play. Alright, continue to get the cavalry this way. Or at least here if they're not going to go through. Seeing there's a heavy variant there. Alright, get these guys down now. They can actually target these units coming in. Alright, what's happening over here? We've now taken this. Alright, swing around to the back of that. They're actually throwing all their forces away from this side now, which is really interesting. A charge against them isn't going to work. And we're getting blocked off there as well. Okay, maybe just trying to cycle charge in the rear of them is probably the play. To allow more men to come through. They couldn't go around and get a town square or like a capture point. Oh, they've just been caught there now. We're going to have to hide them back here. Okay. Yeah, they have to go around a long way as well. They cheesed me massively on that ram. Alright. We're going to have to pick an area and try and break it. Maybe just try and hit their unit head on. Flying wedge could have been the play. Just cycle charging back and forth. They're starting to move. So we might be able to squeeze some around at least. Let the weaker unit push for it. Centralize you. Finish off you there. Alright, so we're fighting in the meat grinder officially. I'm going to have to move you around here. Go further this way. That charge wasn't as bad as I thought, actually. Because we might be able to do something here still. Like, if you can form up there well, we might be able to technically hit it from all three sides. Even though they're bugged completely, even though I told them to detach from it, it still says they are. Alright, let's get these more additional units in. So, oh yeah, they've been caught. Go into the back of that. They've done really well. They've plugged me super well. I haven't been able to flank and rotate and get my men in adequately. They blocked up the walls. They pretty much adopted a similar strategy as a human player would. But this army was more so designed for field battles. If we just had some archers, we might have been able to change things in some aspect. But these guys are going to be able to cycle charge that main bit. We have killed hardly any within there. Pulling this way is better. So you push there. Let's see how these guys react eventually. Alright, everyone's still pushing and moving to fight. Okay, and now that Aurelian's here, we can move him into the town square that we now have more of. Okay, we can swing you further back here now. And with the unit being destroyed, we can swing this entire unit, these guys, around the back. Alright, let's drop these buffs now to try and hold. Okay, move you away from this arrow fire. They're swinging light spears here now. But this is an absolute grind here. So our heavy units aren't performing as well as some of their weaker ones. Alright, the heavies are sitting further back there. Our cavalry does have some skirmishes, so we probably should try and use them. Yeah, that's what we need to do. Just get your peeler and try and soften them up a bit. I think that unit's bugged. Yeah, it's like fallen through the earth. It's like really weirdly split. That's whack. Right, they need to pull this way now. Probably could charge against them and surround them completely and finish them off. There's 52 there. Maybe the value changes have been changed on a couple of them. If they're getting DEI units rather than Empire Divided, maybe. Because our swordsmen should be performing a lot better than this. Like in hand-to-hand combat. Medium cavalry there, heavy Italian swordsmen. Like they're even not doing well against the lighter infantry. Potentially. Alright. That charge worked out well because they're now gone. Alright, and then move you there. Alright, I gave an order so long ago for them to eventually get that way. Yeah, it's that one unit that's bugged. Alright. Cycle charge into the back of this. Because that might be able to rout them. Before we do that, just quickly deplete your peeler if you can. To be honest, we might want to save that for the general itself. Alright. So we'll just move Aurelian just a little bit closer up here. But the garrison within Brundisium is actually held well. It's just different to the Cleopatra series, which I've played already, of course. Alright, now cycle charge it. Yeah, there we go. Now they're routing. Yes, there we go. Yeah, it's actually probably more beneficial being a smaller, not larger upgraded Brundisium, to be honest. Alright, then allow everyone to go for the general. Swing this way. Swing some there. Oh, that's not going to be able to make it, some of them. Alright, push for the heavy units there. You swing around on top of them. Get the cavalry. Oh no, they're just routing completely. Just chuck everyone in then. But we've taken Brundisium at a cost. Costly victory. Rome, so let's fight this one on the field. You forget how actually quick charges off. But this, oh god, that's a miss. And the reload seems to be okay. Yeah, so let's just bomb absolutely everything we got. Oh no, it's going to clip the front line. Bring it down, bring it. Yes, that's what we wanted. Make sure they get nowhere near us there. God, this thing's inaccurate. Alright. Right, I need to stop that. Right, try and bomb this. You try and hit this then. Right, that movement did work well. Where's my cavalry? Oh god, I commanded you to get out of there, please. Right, go for this. Trade that. You pull back this way. You can hit that, that's fine. Let's drop some buffs down. Now, I forget how sort of high tier these are, because we could have formed a testudo formation if we needed to. Or a hollow square as well. Okay, they're starting to rout in crucial points. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to command my infantry to countercharge. There's actually like so many units here that are sitting, which is quite ridiculous. So what I want the majority of you to do is pick a unit and charge. And that's like all of them. So there was only like one that didn't have one. Okay, let's move the general further up here. We'll continue to bomb into this sort of stuff. They're still continuing to charge. Let's get my cavalry back here because they're a little bit exhausted. But let's have a look and see how they're doing down the front line. So on the left, they're still continuing to push the majority of their forces there, and the Roman legionaries are holding here for now. Something a little bit different, fighting on the fields of Mars instead of the siege of Rome itself. That's what I'm talking about. Kind of reminds me of in vanilla Rome when the SPQR... Whoa, is that a... What? Oh, shit. Just like looking there, we've been caught. Plug that. I'm super surprised about that. Huh, they really broke. It kind of reminds me of when the SPQR used to always force a siege out. Okay, we're still continuing to hold and trade. The front line's holding adequately. It does look like their center is starting to break slightly. And we are incredibly now flanking and rotating and moving around. I'm going to allow my ballista to halt and move out of here. I don't want them to accidentally continue firing upon me. At this point in time, they're just drawing me away. Oh, my skirmishers are being caught by what? Oh, that's actually horsemen that have caught them there. Oh, that's a shame. Oh well, let's continue to countercharge here. So they seem to be actually dominating us in the forest there and have caught us in some particular regions. Yeah, like I said, they really focused a lot of their soldiers on that right flank. Everyone else is fine for now. What I can do is allow my brother to give chase on some of these slingers. Even though the Emperor's now taking some shots, he can move further this way. Alright, we're going to continue to give chase on some of these particular units. And they really need to push around and help. It's not over just yet, because some of our units are actually buckling somewhat there. It's not as over Oh god, did they really disappear? It's not such an over-resounding victory just yet. Damn. They're actually moving some cavalry down there. I thought my brother could seriously, uncontested, push against some of these archers, but if there's a full general unit there, he can't necessarily do that, can he? Okay, we'll cycle charge into the back of this. Yes, they still seem to be holding out there. Alright. My brother's fine here. Yeah, I'm just going to play it safe. Pull back to the siege equipment. We'll allow some of our infantry to give chase against theirs, while the rest moves up. Alrighty, so we still seem to be holding there. You're pushing quite well against them. Yeah, they've even got some more cavalry further back there. They definitely had cavalry supremacy on their side for this one, which is surprising. I didn't really identify that when I started things off. So it looks like our swordsmen are getting surrounded there by their Italian swordsmen and cataphractari. My spearmen should be able to push in now and make quick work of them holding out. Yeah, really just sort of go for it now. Trying to capture some of these guys is a little bit fruitless there. Okay. They're now retreating as well. Yeah, so continue to push and take territory where we can. You go for that. Can you continue to push? Yep. Yeah, we got him now. Alright, where's my brother? Yeah, so he's been caught, so that's alright, you go there. Alright, let's speed things up. The right flank was where we were going to lose it, if any time. Send the spears after them. But we've managed to defeat them there. Yeah. Maybe the reason why we lost so many casualties on here is that in forests, infantry efficiency goes down. Melee attack and defense. So, if they had a lot of javelin men, skirmishers there, which I think they might have, they very well could have, that could attribute to the high losses. But the Roman pretenders, even though we've only fought them for this series, have given us a hell of a fight. I've got to give it to them. There's some small skirmishes, some small spot fires in and around the last of the Roman pretenders holding. Spearmen dealing with cavalry, and some of the legionaries finishing off the last of the archers that ran us around ragged and first forced us to chase them. And what is this? A cohort. A small Roman pretender cohort unit. So even they have their own blue variant as well, which is really cool. It's going to be a small clash here towards the end. Be able to finish and kill off some of the commanders and some higher officials there. Okay, what even still seems to be holding out now? They are. So are they. Swing down there to help. They're now gone. You swing there. Alright. Yeah, mostly just skirmishes and stuff. Nothing too much more there. But they are making us run for it. That general unit there still holding out with the furious Bassus. Oh god, I love these Roman names. Right, yeah, they're still pushing there. Sweet. You go there as well, mate. Alright, and you go for that. They still haven't given up yet. Oh my god, these guys keep on evading us there. I don't want to risk my generals going in. But now we severely lack cavalry. There's only archers up there, so maybe you can. God, they're really trying to form up there, these pricks. Yeah, they've still got this general unit pissing about. That's what's probably really holding them all together. Come on, we just need to get one unit to hold them down. We're pushing the rest there. We still technically haven't won yet. Oh, now they're going. No, they're not. Yeah, these guys are still running down. Yep, now we can send in the general because they're all wavering. How many's in there? 36. Yeah, but no, like even an unlucky charge might not work, but we need to wrap this up because these guys aren't. These guys are struggling to get down the last of them. Yeah, look at that. Oh, here we go. Looks like they're going to parlay. Furious, my brother and I are pushing against the last of their cataphractari. We killed half of them the initial charge. And now they're officially routed. Victory! We have victory here today. A close victory. Alrighty, let's assault this one here today and hopefully defeat another army. My PLR are actually dealing with these guys coming in quite well. Push and hold this area here. And it looks like they're going to try and hit my front line here. My archers are trading with theirs quite well. And we're raining fire and death upon them here. We're skirmishing quite well. Once more of their infantry gets engaged, we'll get our own shots on here. But it looks like the Gauls are going to go headstrong into my Roman infantry, along with some bringing some dogs as well. There's a little bit of friendly fire going on here, but that's no matter. Fire at these back tier units now that are now trying to come in. We'll wait for the entire force to commit and we'll go. So as I was saying, we'll have 4 legions commit for Gallic Rome. And the other 2, once they finish off... Let's hit these units around the back. Once they finish off... Oh, there's actually spearmen and stuff there. Once they finish off the men that are sitting in Danube, like in Dacia, we'll send them east, I reckon. We might even have some campaigns against Queen Zenobia. Okay, so let's try and hit these guys that are coming in here and that are sitting further back. So everyone seems to be holding for now, which is fine. We can get our cavalry involved. I wanted to wait just a tad so that my cavalry can come in. They already seem to be breaking at some points. Let's try and hold in certain aspects where we can. And we'll just give it a couple more minutes until more guys get in. We should be able to start flanking in a moment once more of their soldiers commit in. So my cavalry is going to be able to disrupt their archers here. And the General Rome's, yeah, the Gallic Rome's unit is actually a heavy chariot. Antonius, I wonder if he's a descendant of Mark Antony. I guess he'd be considered a great general, but a traitor at the end of the day in this sort of time period. Alright, pulling further back here, because he was against Octavian. Right, we can push further down here. My cavalry is doing really well here this time around, and their front line is buckling. Okay, we're going to continue to try and countercharge this. Alright, and eventually make your way down this front line. Continue to let my cavalry charge down you. You can continue to go down this. I told you to move into a better position, please. Okay. Lucius is getting slightly targeted, but that's okay. And it looks like my cavalry have done their work. So pushing them out and having them pick up units that have overextended is probably the play a bit more. So let's send you in, send you there. There's so many units here that need to be pushed. Okay. And it is really turning into a slaughter here for the rest. Get my cavalry to charge this way. and hit some of these guys that are trying to retreat. But compared to the... Oh, yeah, friendly fire. Hold. Get them out of here. Compared to the battle against Tectriclus, the Gallic Roman units this time around have really capitulated. And now cycle charging cavalry units in is not going to work out well for them. Pushing in lighter Gallic warband there. They are equipped with Roman shields and swords, but their armor is really letting them down a bit. You got to give it to Gallic Rome. They are tough, hardy fighters, fighting with some of the best steel that the old empire has to offer. And the metalworking, especially for the Gauls, is magnificent. So, they are a worthy adversary for the Sun God. Okay, well, everyone's nearly in a full retreat now, so let's start moving units out. There's actually like full stacks here of units that are retreating that we can try and gobble up. Like, you gotta go for this sort of stuff. You go for that as well. Okay, there seems to be one unit somehow holding out here. Against all hope for them. First time fighting the Britons on the open battlefield, so we'll be able to see some of their auxiliary cavalry. So try and stop them. We need to essentially save my artillery and stuff. Okay, so they're now being changed. You can go into something like this, and you can go into something like that. Swing cavalry further around. Get my infantry to engage that. This is incredibly crazy, this fight. So try and skirmish that. You fall back this way. They've now been beaten. You go after this. Continue to hold there where you can. So there is a unit there that we're getting. Oh my god, I have no idea what the fuck these guys are doing. So yeah, draw your swords, get stuck into this sort of stuff. We're just like skirmishing them out. Yeah, just make sure we get these auxiliary down. So it looks like they're actually drawing and running them away there. Right, our soldiers here are fighting on the outside. So the Roman Legion is coming up against the bravest soldiers of Britannia. Okay, and so they're being caught there. I just can't tell what they're doing. They're like going for my reinforcing army, or they're trying to retreat. So that's cavalry. Yeah, run and charge after them. Make sure you get away from these guys. Alright, so fall that way then. Okay, make a defensive formation here. They're fighting them, that's fine. You can come back this way. They're routing. Quickly turn around and sling against that. My reinforcements have arrived here now. That's an auxiliary unit, so they're being caught. Yeah, go after this. Alright, my cavalry somehow made their way here, so let's pull them back. Because we need infantry support. So now they're throwing everyone out. So countercharge this. Alright, they're now going for that. You go for this. This is such a wacky siege, because they're being so difficult and dynamic. I don't know what's to do, because they're like just going everywhere. It's such an unorthodox approach. I've never seen anything quite like it. Okay, you go for this. You continue to push that there. Those reinforcements are still coming in. What's that? That's an auxiliary unit. You're getting drawn into now other auxiliary stuff. Right, try and pierce and hit this stuff. Like, it's just like, form a line there and just hold, please. You form here as well. Right, so what's this? Cataphractarii are getting caught. Right. Once these infantry here arrive, they're going to be able to bring some authority back into it. Oh my god. And now they're drawing us further in there. Alright. Okay. So now you guys go for this. Just target towers and stuff now. Yeah, they're stretching me super thin. And pushing me in these crazy areas. Alright. That is such a wild fight. It's exactly what they want, though. They want to stretch me thin and overextend me. Right, you guys can come down here then. Maybe if you start capping the square, that might work. I don't know. Like, send 2 swordsmen against the general unit, while these guys head this way. Okay, I can't even tell if some of these guys are getting caught. So you need to go here. You've actually gone with a really nice maneuver there. And then you guys are down here as well. They're skirmishing fine, so you countercharge this. And that. Okay, you go for this unit, you go for that. And this is going to start an encirclement. Cavalry's there, just fine. Okay, you need to start redirecting your fire onto something like this. Keep you there. So where are my cavalry divisions? They're not being engaged, and neither are they. That's fine. Okay, however, we do have some units here. Man, this is such a crazy fight. So you continue to skirmish into this. You're actually getting into the town square now. Alright, so there's 1, 2, 3, like 4 pockets of engagement. So we've got a small little skirmish happening here with one of their more professional styled legionary Britannia units with purple and green shields of old. They're now routing. A smaller skirmish here going with further additional auxiliary and painted warriors there as well, who are slightly less armoured. And then we've got this whole fight going on here where some of our legionaries are quite surrounded, and then they've committed too far up in the north. We've actually won that there. Yeah, they're in a full retreat now, most of them, which is really good news for us. Okay, so let's peel this way to help out. Continue to fall further back this way. Right, you need to get rid of that Avati cohort, which I did give you the command for ages ago. And now these guys are gone as well. So every unit here that is not a part of a cavalry contingent needs to move up now. What's coming up against me here? Swords and stuff. Get all my skirmishers to be on skirmish mode. You continue to fall back. Okay, and then we've got whatever the hell's here. Okay, you need to push and save that. We're fighting the general unit in the square, which is Tiberius's Avati cohort, which are the very heavy legionary unit. You can see by the additional armor padding on the soldiers there. And this is the finest that Ligo 1 Britannia has to offer, and it's been in charge to protecting the square. We'll allow my archers to hit them from behind. You're dealing with them. Swordsmen are actually dragging me. How many's in that unit? Only 70. That's why I was like, it doesn't even look like they're even attacking me, but they are. Okay. So my reinforcements have arrived here on a lot of these locations, so they can now swing in. I'll continue to hit something. They're just knackered, aren't they? Okay, cavalry now. We can cycle charge. We were dealing with so many units. I hadn't had the opportunity to cycle charge units. We're starting to pierce and hit their Avati cohort from the behind. And with the arrow fire, it should reduce some of their confidence. So we have taken the town square now. And that surely has reduced their ability to fight. So we've got some cataphractari here and some swordsmen. So some of the mercs are clashing here. These are their painted warband. The old painting of the Norman Picts etched onto their back. It's cool that they've still got their Celtic nature about them. Ironically, I think we've got a lot of Germanic units in this. Yeah, these are Alpine swordsmen, so they do look a little bit barbaric than your Latin unit. And now we've got a full-on retreat there. So we've got Alpine units against Britannia ones, and he's been just gutted there. Okay, everyone's in a full retreat there now. Even their Avati... Oh no, their Avati cohort still hasn't been taken. Alright, we've got some units standing by here. Some others are giving chase. So they need to swing in and flank. You can go here. Their units come in. Send a cavalry unit to deal with that. Alright, let's pierce them from all ends. Okay, we'll now allow our artillery to bombard. Oh, I guess they're not equipped. I don't know why. Wavering now. The crows are flying. Alright, we might as well just push in against them then. Do we have any close cavalry nearby to run some down? We've got some cavalry here we can bring in. Because all that remains for now is their main general unit. So, how I thought this fight was going to go is that they would wait and sort of drag us in instead of aggressively pushing us. I'm quite surprised about it. We'll try and defeat their general unit here now. And we'll send out our cavalry divisions to run them down. Are there any more sort of... Except for the main one inside. Yeah, they're going for that. Yeah, they did quite well. Because I stretched myself a little bit thin. I thought they would just sort of sit and kite and move around and dodge fire while I periodically take down arrow towers individually. And sort of try and phase a lot of them out with my artillery. But what they did was they just went with a sprawl. They attacked just from all sides, trying to flank. And when you're like operating on multiple fronts like that, it's quite hard. They did what is a little bit hard on human players, just trying to calculate sort of real-time movements constantly, because obviously the computer can calculate flank and move far quickly than what I could. Also dealing with reinforcements coming in. Well, we've managed to gain victory. Ah, shame a unit broke there. But I reckon we've run down the majority of them now. Yeah, they ain't coming back. A close victory, supposedly. Unfortunately, guys, it's time to end the video here. Thank you very much for watching.